Well, I have to say, it's a bit of a bit of a pig. Let's get this cinema processor connected, because I was trying Windows 11, which a computer expert told me is based on Windows 10, whereas Windows 10 is also based on Windows 7 or something. Good gosh. Oh, so still getting crappy fucking icons turning up. This laptop, Dell, this is only used for running this. It's not going to be used for it. It's totally isolated. But it's been such a pig. Because I'd thought, I've got a new second-hand Windows Vista. It should arrive tomorrow. I think it's a little bit smaller size than this concrete slab. This is like a small concrete slab that you would put out on a driveway. But it's old, but it's holding. But the battery is like not looking good. The CMOS internal battery inside, that needs to be changed. But another laptop will arrive tomorrow, and then I'll have to sort of connect it all up and do the whole process again to get a handshake. And of course the one thing that wasn't showing up, which Dolby Labs have told me, a cinema supplier also told me, that you should get the USB icon appearing on the screen to install the USB drive system, so you get the handshake connection. Without that, it ain't gonna talk between the two. And as you can see, the level meters are on the screen there. I'm just trying to think if I could bring this a little bit nearer. Well, it's a laptop. A little bit warm. It's too bad the other systems can't, but then I can get smaller laptops, but I can't get smaller laptops today because they will not talk with this processor. I've got to use the other glasses. I haven't even made the lead up yet. I'm slowly in the process of making the lead. So, I just have to connect wire color, the color of the wire on, and follow the wiring pin code on the CP750, which will be the same for a THX wiring specifically, STDS cinema processor, a PAR, I think maybe a CP650, a CP, oh gosh, there's so many. So all I have to do is get the lead made up, and then I can connect it, and then the more things surround, the same, and then I can see how good the processor is versus I suppose versus the Denon. Not comparing Atmos or anything like that. So the sound hurt in the background. It's only going through the Sony STDS's Matrix 424. But great, because I need to see now if I'm not sure where it is. I'm just trying to find alignment. Ah, right. Let's see if I click. Okay, alignment. So that's just the brightness here on the camera. So yeah, all the levels are all over the place. Yeah, they got to be readjusted, which is it's simple. It's very hard to get a system and connect it. You know, sometimes and you're going around in circles and not much is happening. I noticed there's no level meters there at the moment. Oh, and I just noticed. Oh yeah, that's saying room alignment. It's not really a room. They still insist calling it a room alignment. To me, the process of aligning the sound goes through. It's just as complicated as it is trying to get a freaking I knew I had a laptop, but I didn't know what type of system it was. I hadn't used this laptop in probably since the guys that helped me out in the shop here, because we needed a power supply, because I didn't know where the other power supply was, so I bought a new second-hand power supply. And he was checking everything out and then discovered, it needs a new CMOS battery. So I got to totally open this thing up and then replace the desolder and solder on the new battery, I guess. And also change the actual battery because I had to have this in the kitchen while it was getting all the program loaded, because the lead wasn't long enough to connect for the ether. And then I thought, I got a bad feeling there's not enough, the battery's not going to be good. And as soon as I plugged it, totally went off. So the battery's not holding. So I've got to go through the BIOS commands every time if I turn it off, or I've got to go through all that again. Just trying. I partly looked at the manual. I keep thinking this Dell is a touch screen. Oh, I got so used to Chromebooks over the years. Every now and then I keep trying to. It's not a touch screen. Touch screen, of course, has been around for a long time. That sort of technology has been around for a long time, but not every laptop's going to have touchscreen. That's why you check the, see whether this product or what's got a touchscreen. It's not a big deal. Technology has been around for donkey years. I so hate this bloody mouse here. It would be easier if I connect another wireless mouse, because it's a heck of a lot easier. I hate this bloody thing. Maybe I got used to it at the time, but that was 2014. Subject's on the move. Got a problem. So as soon as I got this up and running, that's once I got the lead done, and also got to make a second lead up. So I've got a box that's going to fit on the system. I'm just pressing that. So I press the format buttons. You can see them changing. Yeah. Input. Yeah, it's a very, very complicated processor. After a few days or a week of getting used to this thing, you know, eventually you kind of get bored with it. You know, it's kind of like, nah, you know. And, you know, that's why some people always like to change the decoration on their wall. You know, they don't like the paint on the wall. They just don't like the wallpaper and it's meh. You know, change it, you know. You know, you could put like LCD screens all around your wall. LCD screens, if you know what I mean. Therefore, then you can change the actual colour of the wall. But that comes at running the system, and that's not cheap. If you know what I mean. But it's doable. But you can have video screen where you can put out a space or whatever, black holes and nebulas and or maybe clouds and have it raining and or maybe, you know, and put a fog smoke machine in the room so you got real smoke going in the room, if you know what I mean. Have it literally so it's on the floor, walls, ceiling. Otherwise, what's the point, you know? Especially if it's out of space and then you've got stars everywhere. But that's not cheap. And you can't walk on the damn thing. Although I think there are some things you can. And they're kind of like made of special type of acrylic glass or whatever. Oh gosh, so anyway, it's up and running on the software side, so I've got to make the lead up, so I'm just going to load this up. I'll get back to watching this. Actually, that's Star Trek to the Wrath of Khan there. Yeah, connect the lead, which will only be temporarily because the other box that I got where I'll then be able to then connect CP200 into a DB25 multi-channel box. It's multi-channel and it's a switcher. So I've got four-way switchers on it, DB25s. That's 425 DB25s. That's 4 of them. You connect them, and then you've got an output, and then the output then will connect onto the auxiliary number 2, and then I'll be able to then just switch the from A to B. A is going to be my CP200. And then B is going to be the CP750. Another thing is these go a little bit of warm, so I did put a bit of ventilation. There's no ventilations holes underneath the processor. They're only on the down the side and on the top side. So heat's going to go up to there because heat rises. I was thinking maybe I'll probably take it out the rack, get the lid off, and probably try and fit some sort of cooling system in, little fan that's going to run high speed but very silent or quiet. But that doesn't necessarily mean so, because once it's inside a box, an enclosure sort of thing, that sound or such can increase. So I try to keep this, but that process is designed, you know, as long as it's got ventilation above, that's okay. There's a bit of ventilation there. As long as it's got that, it's okay. But I'd have to say, this is probably I thought the CP500 was pretty hot. Compared to other Dolby processors. Yeah, I'll probably do that in another video, in which order, which is the hottest to the coolest. I know the CP45s are cool, and there's other equipment, and you know, pros and cons, you know, because you get all these people doing these reviews and such and so forth, and they never seem to mention sometimes or whether or not the unit gets bloody hot. And it's like, You wouldn't need to turn on your central heating during the winter time. You just keep this thing turned on, it'll warm your room up. You know, heat is electronics' worst enemy. So you got to have cooling. I just try to think of physics like the sun. Now that's extremely hot, but it's in an extremely cold environment. But it's still hot. It's probably very hot compared to the incredible expanding universe that is, which is minus 400 spaces, minus 455 Fahrenheit. The sun is probably a lot hotter than that. But, you know, I'm just trying to think, you know, well, you know, this is, I suppose, how you figure out things, you know, with this is hot and how to cool it. And I'm not going to put liquid cooling or anything. Well, I'm not taking a chance with that. If that thing leaks. And although, no, hang on, liquid coolant, it's non-conduct. That's it. It's non-conduct. You can get a liquid coolant that is non-conduct. That is, normally if you pour water on something, it's going to go bang. There's a something that's non-conduct. That's like, say, you know, if you go in with a probe or anything like that, that's conduct. That's metal and so forth. That can short something out. If I had a something plastic, then it's non-conduct because it can't, you know, you could put it over 2 terminals and there's no electrical signal that's going to pass through it. I think our fingers and us, you know, is conduct as well. Unless you wear rubber gloves, of course. Then it's non-conduct. It's like this system is just, you know, improving. But I have to say, I'll just expand a little bit. Maybe the word on the 750 is that through cinema suppliers and that, they seem to say that the Windows 11 seem to work or connect, but unless I see a video wide open showing everything, the computer system and the cinema, unless I see something like that, and what process and how, you know, to get the USB thing connected, because I was going through all this stupid thing like admin, administrator privileges and thinking, this is bullshit. And one thing that totally eluded me is that someone mentioned, often you see when you connect a USB device, you get a little ding dong. This device connected. It's loaded up. And that's the one thing I wasn't seeing. Without that, ain't going to work. And I was thinking, they're privileged. I am. Everyone is. You don't have to change any of that on the, you know, I didn't have to change any of it on this. I didn't have to put anything else into the input, like serial number of the processor or anything, or IP address. I think maybe if I was using the Ether connector, I'd probably have to put IP address in or something. But, you know, you should just connect it with the USB. But the other word was that in the field, some of the processors have had problems, and Dolby Labs are no longer supporting it. Dolby Labs don't seem to have an abundance of spare parts. Can't believe that. There's a conspiracy. There is a conspiracy. Anyway, that the Ethernet connector can sometimes go faulty, and with that said, it's a no go. You got to use the USB on the front, which is really there because it's you know. So if that lead gets pulled out right now, it'll probably bugger up this, and I've got to create a shortcut for this as well, so it's on the desktop. I've got to create a shortcut, but this is just isolated, so it's just running, and when I get the other laptop, it'll be just isolated just to run the process. At least the laptop's cheap. This laptop, apparently when it came out, was pretty expensive. But this was a gift. My dad gave me this, and then he got something a little bit lighter weight or something, because obviously he probably realised it's like a brick, like a concrete slab on your. It's making me feel uncomfortable, but at least I got the program running. After, oh gosh, so much. Oh, what's all this down here? Can't focus on that. 444 kilobyte. That's something. I'm not even sure my Denon shows the dial norm -27. Yeah. That's something, yeah.
Not instantly, to be sure.
So if I mute the sound on there, mute button comes up, but it doesn't mute the audio.
They're young.
Just like if I would mute the STDS, the levels are still going. But if you turn the fader level down, the levels go down. Whereas on Dolby CP processors, you turn the fader down, right down to 0. It doesn't attenuate the level. So, what's the levels going up to?
These are pets. Not quite domesticated.
So that's only Pro Logic coming out the centre there. Okay, see the actual level there. It's going up to reference, so the levels here go from minus 40, 20, 0, 70, 7 on the fader, up to plus 20, which is similar on the CP500. It shows going up to plus 20, plus 15, no, plus 10 and plus 20. Anyway,